Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to our life. Let's just get right into it, shall we? We are continuing our way on, to enjoy our second celebration for Baxter and ourselves. She flipped her screen around to reveal Jude and Scott squished together so they both appeared on screen. Terry and Cove both waved, though Terry only spoke out.
Hey, buddies!
Hello from your own house.
Hi!
Hi, I'm Xavier. I made the wedding cake. How nice that we can meet after all. Cool, thanks for that.
Whoa!
It's amazing to see. Your cake was stunning and delicious. Chef's kiss. You're welcome. I'm flattered. Baxter smoothed out non-existent lines in his jacket and gave a perfectly proper greeting as if he was meeting the two for the first time. In a way, he was. This would be Baxter's first encounter with the men as anything other than people who needed his service. To someone else, that might have been nothing. To Baxter, it was monumental. Thank you for letting us make use of your home as a venue. I never had more considerate clients. You started it. You treated us as way more than just clients. In his excitement, Scott knocked his husband's phone. Scott managed to steady it and get back in frame before any real harm could come to the device. Remember the groom's cake? An appreciation party fits the bill.
Well...
yes, that's what's swell.
It's good.
Seriously, dude, relax. We're friends. The ruler straight line of Baxter's shoulders relaxed. He released a sound breath. Yes, I suppose we are. That keeps happening to me. I'm glad for it. Off to the side, Terry smiled mischievously. Rather than joining the conversation, he posed a question exclusively toward Miranda. He's friends with all of us, right? We're sure on that now.
Wow.
Well, I hope so. Maybe we're not grown up enough for him. Baxter graciously ignored the light teasing and gifted them with a rare and earnest admission, though you had a feeling it wouldn't be such an uncommon thing any longer.
Certainly.
Of course, I'm friends with you and you're friends with me. That is why we're here with each other. And don't worry, the closing of the celebration and the end of summer itself won't be farewell. I'll be available for you as far as I can possibly foresee the future. You know where to find me, and I'll make my own effort to maintain these lovely friendships.
Great.
Good, keep it that way. Baxter couldn't speak further. The most he could pull together was a shaky smile at the two men on the other end of the call. Then he cast his eyes around the room. Baxter was quite literally surrounded by people who wanted to be there for him. It was enough to choke you up. You knew more than most about Baxter's emotional struggles with other people, but mainly himself. You experienced the ups and downs, the intense closeness, and the vast distances. None of it changed the truth. He was a good man. Somehow, someday, someone would see that. It was inconceivable otherwise. Baxter would have found the friends he deserved no matter what. You are so grateful that you got to be numbered among them. But hey, you don't have to sit around. Suddenly declared, the party was about to start. Let's get the music going. It's time to dance. That got Cove to snort, amuse. You're really high energy about slow dance.
Gladly.
True. That would be delightful. Okay, I got it. Randy scurried off as if someone might be here to do the chore if he wasn't quick enough. In one corner was a speaker used at the wedding. She flipped a couple switches on it. Her phone had been left propped up on the counter, screen facing out. Scott and Jude could have hung up at any point, yet remained on the line. They decided to attend the whole shebang long distance. The two had plenty of experience with that. It was nice to be there to spend time together. Nobody had it in them to draw attention to it, but the thank you party had a dual purpose. It was also a farewell party. After it was over, you couldn't be sure when you see most of these people again, at least in person. You need to make the most of the opportunity. A delicate melody drifted into your ears. It filled out your own mind and the world around you. Then you caught the eyes of Baxter. He'd been watching your face, presumably for however long you've been lost in thoughts. Don't worry about me. We came together, but that doesn't mean only I can have your attention. I think I'll take a moment to wander the floor.
Take care.
Enjoy yourself. Baxter's polite distance wasn't to avoid you. He was trying not to hinder you from having fun with the rest of the party. How considerate. was, shockingly, the person you spent the most time with during the trip, and it was all the other friends who got on the short end of the stick. Okay, see you. Baxter bowed out of there, but you catch up with him later. For now. You take turns. You'll take chances to chat in between everyone else's dancing. You want to dance yourself. So first, honestly, you gotta go over to Cove. We barely talked to him. He was smiling as you neared. Hey, can we talk? Yeah. You both shuffled toward one wall. It was wise to get out of the way. On the other side of the room, Terry ended up taking Baxter for a spin, and Miranda was for a spin. Miranda was snapping pictures. Well, they looked like they were having fun. Cove had to look at you through squinted along the bottom since his cheeks were lifted high from his grin. We finally got to see each other without everyone else for a change.
I mean,
well, they're still here, but at least they're doing other things. He tilted his chin in the direction of the two models cutting a rug in front of the photographer, catching every angle of it. If you caught right, Randy's cousin was a photographer at the wedding. Perhaps they ran in the family. You and Cove refocused at the same second. You've known each other for enough years to have that level of synchronization. You could instinctively feel when a pause would end. Anyways, how have you been? Since we last saw each other at the wedding and right now, it kind of feels like way more had happened than usual. I'm great. What about you? I'm good now too. You hadn't noticed that little now Cove tacked on.
So,
I hope you like the party. It's a good one, Cove. Nice job.
I'm so glad.
Cool. It was worth it. We spent most of the day putting it together. The food and the decorations and stuff. Cove's eyes rested closed and he released a long, tired breath. I really didn't know what I was missing when I only half took part in this sort of thing. Then he shot you a bent smile and angered those wavy braces. I was definitely right to be too busy to help all of those other times. Wow, Cove, I knew you were trying to get out of work. Hey, my excuses were real, even if I didn't actually want to do it. Oh, and thanks for making me a goodie bag, that was great. You're welcome, and thank you for helping with the snacks here. Neither of you needed to affirm what you already knew, you merely had to appreciate it. After that, you continued to chat, reminiscing about your previous parties you attended while growing up, and guessing which events you might be guests at next. Eventually, you parted ways. You wanted to say hi to everyone there, and Cove preferred to say where he was. I'll go over to Xavier, since I haven't really talked to them all that much. They're hanging out at the edge of the main action, still trying to get used to the venue. You raise a hand in greeting as you approach. The ends of Xavier's lips at time with that. Hey? Hello? That was when something incredible happened. Miranda managed to request a dance with Baxter. It looks like she was trying hard to be bolder with her friends as well as her boyfriend. Her gumption took Baxter by surprise. However, he never declined a lady's request for a waltz. They took it slow and steady. Terry hung up around the pair as a moving, cheering audience of one. Xavier noticed the unexpected exchange too. Though, for them, it was Baxter's behavior that felt shocking. They didn't know about Miranda or how she'd grown up. They did have experience with Mr. Ward.
Good deal.
Quite the party. The first time I met Baxter, he didn't say a single word that wasn't a polite greeting, a farewell, or explicitly related to the wedding work. No matter how reasonable he presented himself as, it was going too far. I had to assume he didn't care for other people, or didn't know how to truly interact with them. And the more times he came to my shop, the more confident I became about that second theory. I liked the company anyway, especially when he let loose and made a joke or two. That was monumental. We developed a protective and a trusting working relationship. That's all amounted to for Baxter, but I decided we were friends on behalf of both of us. Their reminiscing ending, and Xavier was suddenly grinning scarily.
Well,
Still, who knew I'll ever be attending a house party with him? I wonder if you had a say in making that happen. Yeah, Baxter couldn't invite you himself. I had to bring it up. He went right along with it, though. Xavier chuckled, light and airy and unoffended. Thanks for accommodating someone like him and for thinking of me. I believe you and I could get along too. Would you want to exchange numbers? We can stay in touch even when you leave that way. Oh. Absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Lovely. They took out a pair of purple phone with a pastel tone rainbow keychain. You got their contact saved in your device and they did the same for you. That was that. You successfully made another friend. After a pleasant conversation about random aspects of your lives, anything could be said since you still had everything to learn. The two of you split off. Xavier wanted to say a word to the others in attendance, and so did you. You know, I'm gonna save Terry and Miranda for last. So you grab Miranda's phone with the outgoing Jude and Scott call. Earlier, Miranda had propped her phone up on the side table and angled her camera toward the dance floor. It was relieved that your long-distance tones hadn't hung up. You hadn't gotten a chance to properly say goodbye. When you peeked into their tiny rectangular world, you saw Scott and Jude pushing each other's shoulders back and forth to the rhythm of the music while whispering among each other. It gave the impression of proud parents watching their many children in a school musical. You stood there, smiling at the screen. Scott was the first one to catch your presence.
Oh,
Oh, look. You press a hand to Jude's chest to stop him in place. Hi, Luna. Yo, how you doing? I'm good. Thanks again for the party. What? It's nothing.
seriously.
It's nothing because we did nothing for it. Sorry, honeymoon. Hey, giving us a free venue isn't bad. Yeah, don't trash the place. Or if you do, clean it up before we can see it. You're crazy, Grant. The freckly newlywed snorted and bumped Scott with his shoulder again. Seriously, where did this party animal come from?
The thing is,
Nothing teaches you to underestimate what it means to have an event that's been planning on yourself, Jude. It's hard work when you got to enjoy it. I hear ya. Jude playfully rolled his eyes away from Scott, then gazed at him.
hey,
Hey, Luna, you know me and Scott, how me and Scott got to know each other? Oh, met a game, right? Sheer luck. Scott eagerly jumped in on that topic. Twice! What, really? Really? We didn't get it the first time. We were playing a shooter online and randomly got put against each other in game. My team won. It sucks, but I did alright. Come on, it was more than alright. Jude was the best player there. After a while, I wasn't even competing against the whole team, it was just him. We might have won the game, technically, but in terms of one-on-one results, I was only in second place. So I did what any guy who likes to challenge Jude. I sent him a friend request ASAP. Jude accepted it the same day. Two men had different reactions to the walk down memory lane. Jude lowered his chin bashfully, which made it possible for him to see scratching his head at the top of the screen. Scott was grinning boldly. He pulled his glasses further up his nose. I can't even remember why I did. I normally wouldn't bother. It was cool he saw me personally as competition. Guess it made me see him that way too. Aww. That was what he imagined so far, based on the little he knew of their history. They were people from different places brought together by happenstance based on their shared interests. It was impressive they made an impression on each other after a single game. What was the second chance? Oh, right. Where was I? Jude and I played games occasionally over a few months. Always against each other, never talking. That probably wouldn't have changed if it was up to us. We were two warriors who crossed swords before continuing on our own separate journeys. But we got lucky again. One night when I was playing a totally different game, a guy with the same username came up, but this time it was on my team. There was a voice chat then, so I asked him if he was the person I kind of knew. I was that person. That was the first time I ever heard Jude. It blew my mind. Scott and Jude were excited at that point, as they were experiencing the realization for the first time again.
yeah.
Yeah, we were cracking up in the chat. I had to know whoever else was there and just wanted to play. They kicked us out. The rest of the story came out in flurries of back and forth. They tag team telling you they probably work together in games. I don't care about that round anyway. We kept playing stuff ourselves the entire night. The hours flew by. It was ridiculously fun. And we figured out we'd almost the same age and similar tastes in games. And not so much with other things.
And?
Though much later we learned we had something else pretty important in common.
Yep.
Both gay. Now we're married too. I guess you could say the rest is history. Aww, so cute.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Luna, good luck with that dude you happened to run into. I get why Baxter is sticking around.
Wow.
I can't believe you came to the party. I didn't think it was going to be that easy. But that's great. You're good to your friends, Luna. I'll miss you too.
Thanks.
I'll miss you too. That's right. And he carefully set the phone down so the husbands can continue their own dancing. Over to the hosts, Terry and Miranda. The other happy couple was dancing. Terry was leading Miranda in a properly formal back and forth step. He waited for them to finish before speaking up. Hi. Luna. Hey, bud. Do you have time to talk a little?
Fun!
Definitely. I've been waiting to talk to you. Thanks again for coming here and doing all this. I know it wasn't much of a vacation, but maybe you still had some fun? I did. It's been amazing. You meant that deeply. Jude and Scott's wedding was something you were going to remember forever no matter what. But the trip back to the area you grew up in had been an irreplaceable experience in another entirely unpredictable way. Miranda, Terry, and you didn't have to vocalize it. You knew what the quiet meant. Each one of you had gotten a new friend as a reward for participating. And for you, he had become more than a friend. It was truly wonderful. Then concluded the silent moment with a content sigh.
Preposterous!
I'll say our latest endeavors had been greatest success, both in personal relationships and in our careers. Our careers? Randy put a hand on her hip and leveled a musingly unimpressed glance. Here we go again. Yes, as party planners. How many amazing bashes have we thrown at this point? I've lost count. 3, Terry. You've contributed to 3 celebrations. Unless I count the summer story as a separate thing, then it's 4. Impressive. And how has the event company Baxter worked at not offered us positions yet? Before you and Miranda could get a word on that, how you felt about this new direction in your life, you were being volunteered for. Terry's face went up completely different.
Nah.
That's a joke, people. I'm unavailable for future party planning committees for at least a year. The comebacks on the tip of your tongue died, replaced entirely by giggles.
That's cool.
Good, because I'm not either. Next time, let's hire Baxter from the start. Here. Sorry, we're secret party planners forever. No!
No way.
No way! You and your buddies had fun together the length of one song, and then you broke off to find the man you come with. Finally, you reunited with Baxter. Though, finally might have been too strong a thought. It may have been like 20 minutes, if not. It was not another 5-year reunion. Something like that would never happen again. Baxter hadn't said a word yet, and neither did you, but he was already smirking. Hello, you had this lovely soiree as well. What a coincidence. Next thing I know, I'll find you in my very own bed. Maybe if you're lucky.
Darling.
I prefer not to rely on that anymore, darling. Called you darling.
Now?
Now might I ask you for a dance? You may. You held out your hand for him. Baxter accepted without a second hesitation, and your first dance together of the day began. Around you, Terry and Miranda shared another dance of their own. Baxter had a new party keeping himself busy. Also, the two of them loved each other and wanted to be together. Xavier was dancing, in quotes, with Miranda's phone. They were probably curious to speak more with their former clients, and Cove was content to keep watch. He'd never been a fancy-footed guy. No one pressured him to do something he wouldn't want to do. I certainly do owe the group my thanks. It doesn't matter that we went out only the night before. I'm grateful for every opportunity for this. Same here. This might have been the Adams living room, but the atmosphere really had changed. Baxter's face was bright even in the low light, thanks to the way the dangling fairy strands caught his eyes. That, coupled with the gentle piano floating through the air, transported you to the grand ballroom. But the most significant aspect was that you had swept away with the fact that you were with Baxter Ward. He can enchant you anywhere in the world, and for a moment you forgot there was others in the room. One song blended into another as the night continued on and on. Eventually, however, the gang decided to let their dancing feet rest and return to the snacks. Baxter wasn't hungry. Instead, he wondered if he could get some fresh air. It's your party, was Jude's insisting to reply. With that, Baxter politely excused himself from the room. made eye contact with you as he passed. That was an opening for you to join him if you ever want to see one. Subtle wasn't usually his forte, but he could make use of it when needed. You made your own explanations and left the gathering. Outside, Baxter was waiting for you on the sidewalk in front of the Adams house. He had his hands deep in his pockets while gazing at the starry sky. It does look absolutely gorgeous. I almost thought the background was animated for a second because I thought I saw the clouds moving, but they're not. Night had fallen over the world while we'd been dancing. Came to his side and Baxter began to speak without turning his head. He knew it was you.
You know?
Honestly, I was feeling out of my elements, not so surprisingly. Parties might be my forte in general, but my wealth of experience with social gatherings doesn't extend further than being cordial to near strangers. Hanging out with a group of friends, my skills are rusty, to say the least. It's okay, I feel that way sometimes too. His chin lowered and his shoulders raised, a pleasant little smile grew along Baxter's face. Then he swept an arm through the still warm air of California summer. Well, here we are, in the middle of an unassuming neighborhood street I happen to be visiting. For all my intentions of being intriguing, a good amount of moments we spent together had been in a similar setting to this, haven't they? We had our first unexpected reunion on your streets. Many of our best laid plans are imagined there. It's where I asked you out for the first time. And of course, I parted ways with you while standing in the road between our two homes at that time. Oh, yes, memories. When you first arrived on that street only a week ago to help prepare for the wedding, you never could have imagined where it would lead. How you could be there to the exact spot it started and have everything be different now. Baxter continued to gently move. I suppose that was part of the issue. I didn't consider myself appealing enough as a person to be worth the time, so I wanted to support of an exciting or interesting backdrop for meetups. But it shouldn't matter that much where you are if you enjoyed who you're with. I could you told you that. I've been trying to tell you that. You don't have to jump through all the hoops to be good company. Just be yourself. His eyes closed, too bashful to meet your bold-faced affection directly. But Baxter let it wash over.
Truthfully.
I'm thankful I was wrong about you, and mostly myself. Also, Jude and Scott's relationship. I'm always be grateful for that while that lasted, after all. I'll always be grateful that they lasted after all, for their sake and for ours. The quiet pause was completely shut with a default jingle going off and a vibration in your pockets. Baxter's phone and yours got notifications at the same time. Group chat? Baxter muttered, lifting one brow. You reached for your own device to check. He was correct. Randy, Terry, and Cove had started streaming in messages, each one identical, and a mode of champagne glasses clinking. And then Miranda added a couple more. From Jude and Scott, she noted. Cove dropped off another on Avia's behalf to you. Then, for good measures, Terry started spamming champagne glasses. Baxter snorted as the gang gave this digital cheers. If you had to guess, you singled out Miranda as the person behind this, not only because she messaged first, but because it was just the kind of small sweet gesture she pulled. Randy must have been brainstorming some way to make Baxter's offhanded remark come true since he made it, and she found a lot of success with the idea. Baxter was still grinning like a schoolboy at his
Bravo!
They certainly do have the spirits of pro-event planners, finding possibilities to make celebrations special even if the circumstances aren't what the guests had originally imagined. I don't like real alcohol anyways. Then it's perfect. Then you added your own little glass to the set. You wouldn't miss it joining a toast to you in Baxter's honor. Apparently, Baxter put his own champagne boat along with the others. To complete the gesture, he even lifted his phone like it was a long-stemmed glass. That was unnecessary level of class was very him. Nothing more came in from the rest of the party, so you shared a casual observation while putting your phone away. You know, usually everyone would tease me more. Baxter listened closely as he placed his own phone into his jacket. No one joked that we've been out here so long that they're worried we snuck out to get married already. They're showing restraint. I'm pretty sure the gang's going so easy because you're such a skittish guy when it comes to making friends anyways. Baxter smacked a hand over his mouth. He had to reply through his fingers in between hands. That is a fair theory. I haven't been very easy to speak with. However, I'm less skittish with people now than I could ever imagine I could be. He met your eyes once more, slipping that hand around yours instead, and far, far happier as well. His expression was heart-wrenchingly bittersweet. I will miss you so when you go. There was no getting around the fact that your situation had reversed. You were there simply for a visit. It wasn't your home, and you were going to have to leave tomorrow. It made your chest squeeze to think about it. You would be left here without you, and you would have to go without
Forgive me.
Don't worry. Seeing sadness cloud your face, Baxter immediately offered reassurances. I sincerely hope I will respond when you reach out and keep in touch myself. He pulled out his most bold grin, and even his words fell faltered a bit at the end. Every day, multiple times a day, in fact. Well, if that wouldn't be an annoyance. I have no issues dating long distance. As you once said, if Jude and Scott can make it work, so can we, right? The concern was awfully sweet, though you hadn't intended to worry him. I believe you, Baxter. Baxter's poise loosened and his expression grew soft. You realized his actions weren't the cause of your pain. It remained that Baxter's first instinct was to see the mistakes in everything he did, and it seemed he didn't know how to make someone happy. The issue was only how you couldn't be with him even longer. For that he had another promise, and he paired it with a truly gentlemanly kiss on the back of the hand he still held. I imagine we won't be apart for a time.
Honestly.
You see, I need a break after my last clients were something of a rush job. The company understands. And I know you don't know where this concept came from, but recently I've been thinking about taking a little vacation. A spark of hope immediately went off inside your head. It was bright enough to lighten your face. Baxter pounced on the hint of interest, smirking deviously. It wouldn't be anything grandiose like staying in a luxurious mountain lodge or a cross-street road trip, but, as we just established, location is secondary to company. And apparently, according to some strange man, going on trips to spend time with the person you love is a good idea. Quite a concept.
I hope I'm not being too forward.
Besides, they were thoughtful enough to find me where I was first. It's only polite I returned the favor. Baxter is going to visit? You know, I'm gonna hug him and give him a kiss. Baxter didn't hesitate to lock himself around you. He got the kiss as if he'd been waiting for his whole life for it. Aww, adorable. The touch was eager and thrilling and long, and yet somehow too short, but you needed to breathe, unfortunately. You can't... Excuse me. You can take your own advice. Incredible. I'm amazed as you are. Baxter's face was flushed. His voice came out jittery from both excitement and lingering nerves, and he couldn't stand completely.
Hallelujah.
Admittedly, a part of me was convinced I wouldn't go through with it. What if you thought I had lost my mind to follow you right after we barely re-established a connection? You could imagine that completely. It wasn't judgment on you. That's not who he was doubting. Looking foolishly for admitting that he'd become attached was a long-held fear Baxter had toward himself. To say what he did and not backtrack was like stepping up to the edge of the cliff. He had really grown. But having this last day together, knowing it was the last, was the final push to pursue what I actually wanted. And I didn't even need to make you choose for me. I didn't need to make you choose for me with a game of rock, paper, scissors. I forfeited by default. Baxter jerkily flicked his wrist, adding too much energy for it to be his usually smooth gesture. Honestly, it was a practical plan when you think about it. We have plenty to discuss face to face. There's our entire future to consider after all. I'm glad this was a single trip. Isn't it the end of us, Luna? Yeah. You know, I still remember when everything in my life seemed like it was ending or changing, and comforted me by saying I could find people with me who would be with me always, and that might have already found some. So far, you've been right. I do, but now I can say it back to you. Baxter, there are people who want to be close to you, no matter how much distance there is or how much time goes by. I know because I'm one of them. Your words struck a deep resounding chord in Baxter's heart. There is no as if that time. A bond like that you only had together truly was what he longed for his entire life. Baxter's dark eyes grew damp. He wiped away with a thumb.
It's settled.
It's settled then. With that, he straightened out his jacket and swiped his bangs in a vain attempt to seem more presentable. I suppose we should make another appearance now. I'm not the only person who wants to see you. I'll be the one who gets to be with you again. They want to see you too. They've had to wait way longer than that. Baxter gave a light chuckle, fully in control of his emotions again, or he wasn't exactly controlling them. He had become comfortable with what he felt.
Let's return together.
True. We shouldn't keep our friends waiting for how patient they've been. Let's return together, Luna. Oh, look at that face. You had shout for you once more for the next dance, even before either of you could hear the music again. I love that smirk. You accepted it. Seeing him that way, you couldn't help reflecting on how the man facing you had always been so ready to leave, to turn his back to you, to be alone for as long as you known him. And now every point along the list had changed. Resident of California, member of the group, the boyfriend for life. That is Baxter Ward. So even though you've been preparing to leave this place for when the party ended, you're positive the two of you would end up coming back together again and again. It was simply unavoidable for you and him. First, because of a string of chance encounters, and second, because of your own efforts. The pushes and pulls of your life were like a dance. Sometimes you were familiar with the steps, and sometimes you had to make them up as you went along. Luckily for you, no matter which tempo, style, or pattern played, you would have a true partner by your side for the next song. Thank you for beginning a life here. You can always come back again, always. The end. Look at that. That's nice. And with that is the end of our life. I'm going to actually be leaving a poll in my Discord, and along with you guys can vote as well. If you guys want to actually see me play through Derek's ending along with Cove's ending as well, depending on what people choose, because I probably still want to play these myself, but I don't know if you guys want to see this, especially with this series, as long as it is. So obviously with this going up probably like a month later, or like at least a few weeks, you guys probably already know the end results, depending on if I have more videos after this or not, but who knows? We'll have to see. With that, I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever that might lead you into the future, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.